Yeah, cool. Colleagues, when I was working in North Carolina's public schools every day, I loved all of the cheesy statements that teachers and social workers like myself embrace about our kids. And one of my favorites, maybe the cheesiest of all, was that every child is a diamond in the rough, just waiting to be polished. I believe it. I think it's true. And I think that every educator I ever worked with in our public schools believed that that was true. But when I think about these taxpayer-funded vouchers for private schools, I think that the majority of taxpayers know that we are looking at fool's gold. I understand every parent's desire to make sure that their child is well educated. But I cannot understand how we, as a body, would sanction taxpayer-funded spending on private schools that have almost no standards to ensure that children actually receive the education that we know they deserve. Schools that are not required to have academic performance standards, they're not required to have teachers who are certified, they're not even required to run criminal background checks on the teachers that they employ in their schools. They're not required to provide special education services. They're not required to provide busing. They're not required to participate in the federal free and reduced lunch program. Out of the 200 schools that receive the most of these taxpayer-funded vouchers, 42% are accredited. That's 58% of the schools that don't even have some type of accreditation. Only 8.5% of them report student outcomes of any sort, and only 2% require their teachers to be fully certified. We're going to spend $7 billion total, at a minimum, on this fool's goal by 2032. When we're running into structural fiscal deficits starting just 2 years from now, we don't have this money to spend. Especially not when 23% of the families under the current program already make more than $259,000. 72% of the families receiving it make over $115,000. If those families can afford private schools and they want to choose one, they may do so. But it shouldn't come out of the education of the rest of the children when our public schools could do so much with just the $248 million that we're appropriating today. What could we do? We could do a 3.5% raise for teachers who already have lost $20,000 in earnings when compared to inflationary dollars over the last 4 years because we haven't given them adequate raises over the last 4 years. We could add 575 counselors, social workers, and nurses, or school psychologists. We could add 700 teachers' assistants to help our youngest children learn how to read. We could do 37,000 pre-K slots. I know, you know, we all know who wants these vouchers. We also know that they are not going to serve the students who need our public schools most of all. And for those of us who represent rural counties, myself included, Caswell and Person, we know that the vast majority of people living in our counties are never going to be able to take advantage of this program, and that when a few do take advantage and pull out of the public schools that are already struggling school systems are going to struggle even more when they lose student population, and the burden is then going to fall from the state, where we're putting our money into vouchers rather than our public schools, to the county, and the result is going to be increased property tax burden on every single resident in the poorest communities of the state. I do not believe that the people of North Carolina want to support these taxpayer-funded private school vouchers. I do not believe it one bit. And I believe you'll see that by the number of parents who keep their kids in our public schools and believe in the importance of public schools for building community and building strong lives. And I hope that we will turn around and not proceed further down this path with stripping this money away from our children.